Ukraine's defense ministry has said a military helicopter has been shot down in the volatile eastern town of Slavyansk. The defense ministry statement added that the pilot of the chopper has survived. The helicopter was shot down by a heavy machine gun. Meanwhile, medical officials say 2 people have died in a fresh confrontation between pro-Russian activists and troops. Meanwhile, UN Chief Ban Ki-moon has urged all sides to help resolve the crisis peacefully. He also offered to mediate in the worsening turmoil. Well, this is while Russia is raising the alarm over the failure of efforts to end the unrest in Ukraine, warning that it would threaten peace across Europe. The Foreign Ministry has called for immediate action to prevent, quote, destructive consequences for Europe's stability and development. It has also accused Ukrainian ultranationalists of committing massive rights violations. The ministry urged joint efforts by the people of Ukraine and the international community to halt what it called racism and ethnic intolerance. President Vladimir Putin has already called for dialogue between Ukrainian authorities and pro-Russian protesters who now control more than a dozen towns in eastern Ukraine. So George Eliasson is an author and journalist with us on the line from Luhansk. Let's get his comments on this. Mr. Eliasson, thank you very much for being with us here on the Top 5. First of all, do you think that speaking of a solution that involves dialogue is even practical at this stage?
Until the government actually starts talking to the regional governments here, there's actually been nothing on the table this whole time. To have dialogue, you have to start dialogue. And what they've been getting instead is attacks by the military and private sector.
Well, who do you blame? Who should be blamed or found responsible for this failure of the dialogue process or for not allowing it to begin?
For not even attempting it. It's the responsibility of the national government to be able to do that. But even if you look at the history of what's going on in Slavyansk right now, the whole point of building the barricades was to get the government's attention so that it actually come and talk. From comments from the people there after the first attacks on Easter, they were actually in shock that instead of a delegation, they got bullets.
Well, a lot of people are looking at this, Mr. Eliasson, as an international war between international powers. From one side, we've got Russia raising concerns there, saying that what the Ukrainian government is doing is going to threaten security in Europe. And on the other side, we've got the United States and other allies saying that Russia is responsible for creating this unrest. How are you seeing it in terms of how international players are involved?
Well, I've been writing about this from the beginning. I've done a lot of research into it, the causal factors and such. Russia's hand has been almost non-existent this whole time. It certainly isn't in Southeast right now. It's very sympathetic, but it's been trying to push for some sort of peace process to start. But that was the whole point of the Geneva Agreement.
So do you think Russia is responsible, however, for the unrest that's taking place in Ukraine? Because, you know, it is being blamed for instance, giving weapons to these people. It's even been accused by the United States of sending undercover agents and taking part in what can be described as the civil war now in Ukraine.
Well, even the OSCE guys that were in Slavyansk itself, they were very open about the fact that there were no Russian weapons there. There were 20-year-old Soviet weapons. There's no movement of weapons, real weapons in the area right now. These people have been taking over armories from the city SBUs, regional FBI type of institution. And after what's been going on with well, specifically, if you look at Odessa, the chances for talks are really getting slim. And the chances for a larger conflict are getting much bigger, which is something that I don't think anybody wants.
Mr. George Elias, an author and journalist with us there on the line from Luhansk with his comments. Thank you very much, sir.